I want to make sure as kiddos might be running around that you guys can all hear me. My name is Chris Brown. I am the new athletic director here at Jarrell Academy. My background is I've been a coach here for the last 2 years. This will be my third year. Before that, I coached AYSO soccer. I've also umpired, refereed soccer, refereed football. So I'm connected with sports. I'm very passionate about sports. I'm also the secondary PE teacher here on campus. So that's my background. That's why I'm connected to this athletic director position, and that's why I'm here. With that being said, we're offering numerous sports this year. Some of them are the sports that we've offered in the past, flag football, 3 through 5 competitive, JV varsity, flag football. Same thing for volleyball, for girls volleyball. I will say the 3 through 5 competitive for the volleyball is more co-ed. We typically only have girls that try out for that team, but it is co-ed. So I mean, if there was a son out there that wanted to at least try out for that team, he could most certainly do that. We're also offering cross country, which we offered last year. There are 6 meets, and we'll kind of briefly dive into that here in a minute. That's the earliest sport that starts. That starts on September 9th, which is a Monday. All the other sports, the first game will be September 14th, which is a Saturday. I can tell most of you that at the beginning of this process, we were asked if we wanted to have weekday games. For the most part, we should only have Saturday games. I requested that. I feel like it's easier for us as parents because I have 2 kids that go here that will play sports as well to kind of get around. So we're not rushing home at 4:30 from work trying to grab this and that and then get to the game. I know my 8-year-old showed up for a couple soccer games without cleats before. Just couldn't get my head screwed on right. So I totally get it. So for the most part, other than if we get into tournaments, which again, we'll talk about that here in a minute, most of it should be on Saturday, just so everybody knows. New this year is kinder through 1st T-ball and 2nd and 3rd grade baseball. Part of that's really awesome, especially for these younger kids, is that the league is also going to grow that. So as we get into next year, it'll be available for 4th grade. As we go to the next year, it'll be available for 5th grade, and so on and so forth. So there is a potential chance, even though we don't have a diamond ourselves, that we could grow this into middle school baseball down the road. So some of you starting off with kinder and 1st grade, if you're really passionate about it, and they want an easy way to play without getting in some of these upper echelon leagues that are harder to get into, this is something that your kid could grow with and be a middle school baseball player for Jarrell Cactus down the road. So just keep that in mind. It is the first year for that stuff, so just bear with us a little bit as we get our bearings. But I think it'll be really easy to slide into. And we have some awesome faculty members that are going to be our coaches this year that I feel will help steer the ship for us to get there. With that being said, the sheets over here, which I've already announced to a lot of you, there are sheets over here that need to be turned in the first practice of the first tryout for these sports. The main reason for us as coaches, if those players make the team, is to have your contact information, email, phone number, so we can reach out to you to say, hey, your kid made the team. Also, it asks for uniform sizes. This year, different from last year, we offered shirts and shorts. I think this year we're only going to go with shirts, but coaches will communicate with you guys what kind of shorts we're going to wear, if it's black, if it's gray, and we'll coordinate to make sure that everybody's on the same page with that. But the shirt size is important because the minute they make the team, we need to order these uniforms. We've only got like 2.5 weeks to work with to make sure that everybody gets signed up and we're good to go. So make sure that you take one of those sheets with you, as well as the physicals. The physical sheets, you basically just need a doctor to sign off on the fact that your child can play. Those will be turned back to your coaches, who will in turn that back into you. Thirdly, Mrs. Brown, can you please go get my computer? I'll allow time for questions here in a minute, because I know some of you have questions. One of the things that I've run into in the past as a coach here is making sure that schedules are communicated accurately. Our league, NCSAA, has had trouble in the past. kind of foreseeing that some teams may drop out after week 2, so they don't give us a full schedule until we're like 4 weeks into the season. And it's a pain as a parent to say, where am I going? What time? You're not telling me till week of? Well, this year they have promised that by September 7th, they will give us a full schedule of the season. So what you get when you sign up your child is 8 games. Those of you that are in competitive leagues with older children, if they make the tournament, they could have 10 games, 11 games to win the championship. But what you're promised in each league is 8 games. Now for kinder and first and second and third, we're trying to grow them into loving baseball or seeing if they're passionate about baseball. So it's not competitive. Like a lot of what kinder and first will go through with T-ball is that every inning everybody bats and everybody runs the bases and they just if they really like it. Okay, there's no tournament at the end. We may not even keep score. It just is what it is. But with the competitives, obviously, we'll get into playoffs at the end. The top 8 teams, that's us playing other charter schools all around, will compete for a championship. So again, you can end up with 10 or 11 games once we get into that. And that's in November. So you're going to play your 8 games, and then when we get into November, I want to say it's like the second week, will be tournaments. For every volleyball team, football team, and for baseball, that includes T-ball, it's $140. That pays for the league fees, that pays for their uniform. I can tell you that other schools charge $200. It's up to the school. I mean, really with us, we break even on that, but it's so we can offer these sports. With cross country, you're paying $15 a meet, so that's 6 meets, $90, which will also include a uniform. Cheerleading, I don't know if anybody's interested, if anybody came for cheerleading tonight, because they had a meeting 2 nights ago, but there is a QR code over there for you to fill out for cheerleading. If you cheered in the past, it's the same uniform as last year. If you didn't cheer, it's $200 for the uniform. You can coordinate with Mrs. Dorn or Mrs. Craig on that. I can give you more information after we're done today if you need it, but I think most of you are here for the other sports. Any questions so far? Just raise your hand. Any questions? Yes?
What time are the games on Saturday, or does it vary?
It can vary. And when I say it can vary, it can really vary. You may have an 8 o'clock game, and there are times, unfortunately, because there are a lot of teams, other charter schools, you could have a game at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, that's the important thing of knowing way ahead of time when and where. Yes.
Do all ages need to get that physical?
All ages need to have a physical.
Okay.
To my understanding, if something changes, I'll certainly have the coaches communicate that, because I know the first tryout or the first practice will come probably waiting for a lot of you to even get into a doctor's office to get that physical. I will say that with that physical, you just need it by the first game. Okay? If they don't have it by the first game, they may have to miss that first game, but as soon as they get that physical, they'll be able to play. It's just a requirement. So the games, he asked what are the practices and games and how many practices a week. Typically, most of my teams, most of our teams are operating on a 1 practice per week basis. The first practice or first tryout is listed on the sheet, which I can make sure I can give you by the end of this. Most of the practices, football, for example, is at Mountains Edge Regional. That's where almost all the practices will be. Baseball, that includes coach pitch for second and third, and T-ball will be at Nathaniel Jones, which is about a block away from here. For now, in the grass lot. Volleyball will be here. And cross country, I think, is still kind of up in the air. I'll have to check on that before we leave today. See if I can check my notes actually.
Sorry.
Might be good. One other thing I wanted to mention for the volleyball folks. We have not taped it off yet, but we'll be hosting games here, which I'm super excited. I'm super excited about. I mean, we don't have the best NPR, but when you consider, to your other question, which I'm getting to, you consider there are times where you have to drive, and I don't know where everybody lives. I live up in Providence, which is north of Summerlin, but love down here. There are games in Pinecrest. There are games way down Jefferson that are just really, really far for some of us. When you consider that, to be able to host games here is a plus. So we were able to get that approved. For anybody who has a child who may play basketball, at 3 through 5, we're actually going to host games here as well. So again, to have that is a little less driving for some of us, but games can vary. There's charter schools that we're associated with that are up north. The baseball field is. That brings me to my next point, though. One of the issues I've been running into is a lot of parents now, through National Sports ID, you guys will be able to see the schedule if your coach is actually updated. Not on your coach's page. You can go to ncsaasports.com. I had parents that wouldn't show up for games last year. They were like, I couldn't get there. I don't know where the game's at. And it's like, it's online. And I would see the link a million times, but miscommunication. But if you go online, you can click on a sport, you can click on your team, and you should be able to see the schedule, and that will tell you where you guys are driving and things of that nature. Once baseball is figured out, you'll be able to go on there and you'll be able to see where those games are going to be. Make sense? Yes?
Are the uniform sizes just standard, like small, medium?
Yeah, so you're going to want to take the, my wife and I have struggled with this through the years because some sizes vary depending on who's making the product. But typically you're going to look at your Walmart shirt, and if it's size 14, however that translates to youth size, so youth medium, youth large. That's what I want you to give me. Youth medium, youth large, adult small. Yes, sir?
Is football going to require helmet?
Football does not. Good question. Our football through NCSAA is non-contact. So, ball is hiked. All 6 linemen, including the center that just hiked the ball, are now receivers. No one's blocking. The quarterback has 5 seconds to throw the ball. He can hand off, but there's no blocking. So, in that case, there's no need for a helmet. Anything else?
So for the tryouts, is it going to be the same place where the practice is going to be held?
Yes. So Nathaniel Jones for baseball is where the tryouts will be booked. Let's be honest. All the kinder, first, second, third, they're going to make the team. We have 2 kinder and first grade coaches right now. We might end up with 3 by the time it's all said and done, and that'll be something that I'll have to try to figure out. We typically, for those kids, because they bat all the way around for 4 innings, only want like 12 to 14 players on that team. So if we end up with 30 kids, 34 kids, whatever signing up, I will have to find the resources to have another coach there, but we don't want to chip those kids out of the experience. Second, third, same way. However, when you get into 3rd through 5th and 6th through 8th, some kids might get cut. We have a standard in our charter school system where faculty have to be represented at the games. Like, we have to have staff that are coaches at the games, and we only have a certain amount of faculty that can make it. So we have to take what we can get, and unfortunately sometimes I had a situation last year where I had to cut kids on basketball. And I ended up coaching 3 teams so I could keep a lot of them, but I couldn't keep all of them. And it's just kind of, where we're at. But we will do the best to make sure that all kids have a chance to play. But just so everybody knows, 3 through 5 and 6 through 8, we may have cuts. And you guys will know of cuts immediately after tryouts. They'll communicate that. But back to your point, Mountains Edge Regional for tryouts and for practices. Here for tryouts and practices, yes, it'll be the same place. Yes, sir.
Do you accept parent volunteers?
I do. And to that point, when I say faculty needs to be there, it's actually kind of cool if you get a solid parent volunteer because they're there at most of the practices, so they're very comfortable. And let's say I run into a situation where I can't be there. I may go to Mrs. Farmer as our principal and say, hey, can you or Mrs. Turley fill in for me this weekend at the game? Just be the faculty member that's there at the game. But you're going to coach, you know what I mean? Because you've been at the practices. But at least we have a representative there. So I'm totally on board with that. I know a lot of my other coaches are. Yes?
If we do have parent volunteers and helpers that want to help coach, you need to make sure that you're fingerprinted.
Yes, absolutely. That is the caveat. You will make sure that you're fingerprinted so you can, just like you do if you help here at school, you would have to be validated. So the last thing I wanted to bring up, I know we're moving really fast, and we can get into the weeds. I don't want to keep everybody here that doesn't need to be here. But the last thing I want to bring up is this National Sports ID. And this is how we're verifying kids this year. So whether you're in kindergarten, first grade, or you're in 8th grade, this is different than what we've done in the past. If some of your kids have played AAU or played other sports through other systems, you may be familiar with National Sports ID. This is used to verify the age of your child and that your child is actually attached to the school that they play for. Why this is a big deal to us in CSAA, I was actually interviewed last year from the news because my team was slaughtered for the most part by another team who used a freshman on their 6th through 8 team who was illegally playing on that team. So, and they were caught, they did it a couple times, and I think it happened in a couple other sports too. It's sad that we live in that kind of world, but you want to make sure that the competition that your kids are playing up against are validated. So you would go on here, to simplify it, you go on here, you, as a parent, you make a profile. You basically just give them a little bit of information, your name, your email, contact information, and then they'll ask you to sign up your children. So with that, you go in, type in a name, birthday of your child, you're going to give them a headshot of your child, you're going to give them a birth certificate of your child to prove the age, to validate the age. And then they're going to ask you for either the schedule that your child currently has on Infinite Campus, or if they've been here a while, they're going to ask you for your last report card to validate, so last year's report card, to validate not just that they belong to the school, but what age they are, or what grade that they're attached to. Those are the 3 main pieces of information you're going to give them: headshot, birth certificate, and some sort of validation schedule or report card of them going here. Once you do that, it literally takes like an hour, and they'll validate. And they'll come back with an email and say, your kid's been verified. What's great for us as coaches, we no longer need a picture ID roster. My varsity team got, I showed up for a game last year. Again, getting turnaround backwards, coaching 3 teams, I showed up for a game. No picture roster to hand in. They don't really check it, but you had to have the picture roster. The minute I showed up without a picture roster, I had to forfeit the game. Okay? This eliminates that. This puts the onus back on the league. So once you're verified in the system and you're attached to the team that you're supposed to be attached to, so they'll send me an email back and say your child's been verified. You go back in there, you click on your child's name. It'll say find team. You click on find team, a little search box comes up, you type in Cactus. All the teams that Cactus is associated with in the fall will show up. Attach your child to that team. Now he's on the roster, now she's on the roster, now you're good. When we show up as coaches to the game, they will have a tab on site. They'll be able to look at the iPad or whatever they're using, and there's the roster already. Okay, so no issues at all. Plus you're playing against competition that you know are the correct age because everything's in there. If you guys have trouble with this, all the coaches have been trained with this. So if you guys have trouble with this, please let the coach know and we'll walk you through that process. Lastly, kinder, first, second, and third. Let's assume all those kids are making the team. You guys can start that process right now to verify these kids. So you can leave today with the physical paperwork, go get the physical sometime in the next 2 weeks. You can go today or tomorrow to National Sports ID, start to verify your child. Because the sooner you do this, the better. We have to have all this in, we have to have all this in by, what is it, September 11th. September 11th. But the sooner you do it, the sooner we can just move on, right? And you don't have to worry about last minute, trying to get your child added to the roster. The league has that cutoff of September 11th. Cross country is the same way. There's no trial. You're right into practice. So for you 6th through 8th graders that are gonna run cross country, you can leave today, take your physical paperwork, go get the physical, go to National Sports ID, sign up. Cross country, your coach will also coordinate with a second party website, athletic.net, and that's where you'll be able to not only register for each race if you want. I think your coach is going to do it, so you guys don't have to do it. But you can see each race, and it also, all the times are going to be kept this year for each runner. So you'll be able to go see your times week to week and your performance. For what? Oh, for this? Yeah. So, $140 for volleyball, football, and baseball. There is a $10 charge to verify your children because they process on the back end to make sure that the child is verified. So when you go on the site, you put in the headshot headshot and everything else. When you get to the very end, you go to click submit. They're going to ask you for $10 to verify. You can, for anybody who uses PayPal, you can use PayPal or you can use your regular bank card or whatever, but they're going to ask you for $10 to verify your child.
It's a one-time fee.
It lasts a year. It lasts a year. It lasts a year. So if your child plays volleyball, and then your child in the winter plays basketball, and then your child in the spring plays track and field or they play soccer, you will not have to do this again. That one-time fee will get you through the year to verify.
When are the tryouts?
Tries. Good. Let's get to that. So 3rd through 5th girls volleyball. And I'll go slowly through all these. 3rd through 5th girls volleyball is Wednesday, August 28th. That's next week. All the tryouts are next week. That's why we're here today. So 3rd through 5th girls volleyball next Wednesday from 3:40 to 4:45 right here, right after school. Okay. 6th through 8th girls volleyball. The tryouts are Monday, next Monday, August 26th, from 2:30 to 3:30. That's 6 through 8. So right after upper school gets released, those kids will get changed and come into the NPR for the tryout. Flag football for all levels, so 3 through 5, and both JV and varsity for 6 through 8 will be on Wednesday, August 28th, from 4 to 5:30 at Mountain's Edge. So that's everybody. It's 3 through 5 competitive, and all 6 through 8 kids that want to play. That's on Wednesday from 4 to 5:30. And then kindergarten, kindergarten through 1st grade. That's on Tuesday, August 27th, from 4 to 5:30 at Nathaniel Jones. So again, kindergarten through 1st, T-ball, August 27th, from 4 to 5:30 at Nathaniel Jones. And then 2nd and 3rd grade, it's the same thing. Tuesday, August 27th, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. at Nathaniel Jones. So football and all baseball are pretty easy to keep because they're all at the same time. It's only the volleyball for the different levels that are on different days. Yes. She asked if she never got a pin for kindergarten before it in the campus. My suggestion would be to stop in to the front office and just ask for that information. They should be able to, Olivia Kwan should be able to get that information. Absolutely. You guys have questions about physicals, because her question was, you have physical in the spring for soccer. I know typically physicals last for a year, so I can certainly look into that information. If it's a bigger question for all of you, I can certainly have a mass email go out to all parents associated with sports to kind of answer that within the next day or so. Yes. You know what? Glad you asked that. They actually just changed with me, because on the original sheet, I said it was TBD for practices, and they sent me yesterday practices for them after the first one will be Thursday from 4 to 5.
T-ball?
Yes, that will be T-ball every single week after that first time. So moving forward, you can count on T-ball being Thursdays from 4 to 5, same place though, Nathaniel Jones. And again, if we end up with 3 or 4 teams, the coaches may change some things around. They would certainly contact you and change that up once we have everybody's contact information. We've gone through that first practice. Any other questions? For 2nd and 3rd? Yeah. So for 2nd and 3rd, let's get through. My coaches have not gotten back to me, so let's get through the Tuesday from 4 to 5:30. They may certainly change that. They may keep it the same, but they'll be able to give you more information after that practice.
Do you know what cheerleader tryouts are?
There are no tryouts for cheerleading. If they want to pay the $200 for a uniform, they're immediately on the team. This year, I kind of instituted to have them cheer more than basketball, because I really wanted them there for football games. So they're going to start cheering for football, volleyball occasionally, especially for the home games. You can check with Mrs. Doran or Mrs. Craig, who are heading up that team. Sure.
The cross country is it's only upper school?
Cross country is only upper school this year. Unfortunately, again, one of those coaching things. I know we offered it to younger last year, and we may do that again next year. But my hope is for the youngers, because I had this conversation during orientation. My hope is we passed last year, even though we had a lot of kids interested in our track and field in the spring. We passed on that. I don't want to pass on it this year. So there's at least for those who love to run, hopefully we'll get involved with that in the spring, and they'll have the opportunity for 3 through 5 to do some track and field.